Everyone's talking about how expensive Final Fantasy is, or what cards we can't get, or Cloud this, or Sephiroth, and all these characters that everyone loves. But bring it in, bring it in. We're going to talk about the ones that no one's talking about. We're going to talk about the sleeper hits from Final Fantasy. Let's get into it. We've got so much buzz about how much this set costs and everything that's going off in terms of financials. It doesn't even make sense to open collector boosters right now. The cost of it way overblows the EV. So what are we going to do? We're going to buy all the neat budget cards and put them in our decks and have fun playing Final Fantasy cards while everyone's too busy yelling about how Clouds are too expensive or Sephiroth and Surge foils just cost way too much. So here are my 5 sleeper hits from the Final Fantasy set, starting with Jill, Shiva's Dominant. This is a 3-mana human, and when she ETBs, you get to bounce a non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Notably, this doesn't have to be an opponent's thing. It can be your thing. If you've got a Saga that's got too many counters that you want to replay, you can do that. If you got some pesky Darksteel mutation on your Voltron commander, you can knock that off and swing in. And the main reason we're talking about it is because it's 30 cents and it's going to fly under the radar. Her 5-mana ability is actually pretty useful, and because it's flipped over and no one can actually read it, they're not gonna, and they're gonna totally forget about it, and then you're gonna tap 5 mana, and then your big Voltron commander or your huge combat damage trick is gonna be able to hit unblocked, because when she flips over, the first mode of her saga says target creature can't be blocked this turn. 5 mana is actually a pretty solid rate for that. I know it sounds like a lot, but Rogue's Passage costs 4 and you tap it, so that's 5 mana. So this is just that on a creature. Also, you get it twice if it lives, and in a third mode, you just get to tap someone's lands. If you got a pesky blue deck in your pod, you can just tap all of their lands, and they have to deal with everything at sorcery speed like the rest of us for that turn cycle. Notably, if she makes it through all 3 of her modes, she just flips back over, and you get that bounce again, and you can just keep doing this for as much value as your opponents will let you get. She is kind of Timmy. Obviously, it's not a bracket 4 card, but for 30 cents, this is a great addition to a bracket 2 or 3 decks that wants to swing in with combat damage or just needs a little help bouncing stuff with ETBs. Number 4 on this list is Cipher Almasi. This guy gives any of your creatures that attack alone double strike, which is a great power. You typically don't get this in red. This is typically relegated to white cards, whether it's Duelist Heritage or True Conviction. Double strike is a great power, especially when coupled with combat damage tricks like the one he has below. On combat damage, cast a 3-mana instant or sorcery for free out of your graveyard, and because he has double strike if he attacks alone, you'll get to do that twice. So there is a lot of value baked onto this card. If you're doing a Voltron style commander, this will give your commander double strike, and if all of the removal gets pointed at your commander, then you can swing with Cipher and he can get a little extra value to get you back in the game. 4 mana is probably 1 more mana than I'd like to play for that, but because of that, I think again, sits in that 2 to 3 bracket super nice. It's a 30-cent card. No one's going to see this guy coming, or are they going to prepare for it? Next, we're breaking away from the main set and we're going to the commander set, and we're talking about Summon Valapor. This is a 5-mana 5/4 flyer, and it's got a ton of extra juice built onto it. In the first mode, you're basically bouncing everyone's best creature back to their hands. This is huge if you're going against those Voltron decks. If you're going against a commander that likes to put 1/1 counters on stuff, this really slows their gameplay down. You can blink this guy, you can remove counters to keep getting that trigger over and over again. But if you can't abuse the first mode, he's still a big flyer, and he taps and stuns down a creature. So if you've got an opponent that's playing Jolly Balloon Man, you can keep that tap ability in check. Or if they've got an Elfish Archdruid, you can keep that tap down as well. Sitting in these bracket 2 to 3 decks, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, not only from what the card is doing, it's letting you do a ton of stuff, helping out the board state a ton, and it's only $1. Number 2 on the list is a sweetheart from Final Fantasy VII. It's Aith Gainsborough. She's got lifelink. Whenever you gain life, you get to put a 1/1 counter on her. When she dies, you get to put those 1/1 counters on every single legendary creature you control. That's a great power. Plus, if you're playing an Agassiz Soul Cauldron deck where you're tucking a Walking Ballista away for an infinite combo, look at Aith. She only costs $2. The typical other counterpart to this is Heliod Suncrown. He's going for like $12 to $16. So for much, much cheaper, you can get the same effect, and you don't even need to spend 2 mana to give lifelink to something. You've already got it on her. Before we get to number 1, we've got an honorable mention. This is a common out of the set. It's World Map. It's a 1 mana. You can tap 1 and go get a basic and put it in your hand. While that is not ramp, definitely don't think it's ramp. It lets you fix in case you just need to fix and you're in a pinch and you didn't draw your 3rd land because you thought keeping 2 lands was really, really smart of you, and it wasn't. We've all been there. I get it. But on 3 is where this really shines. You can have it go get your Cabal Coffers. That's right. Put this in your mono black decks if you're running Cabal Coffers. It is a second piece to Expedition Map, where Expedition Map lets you get any land on 2. This will let you get your coffers on 3, or emergency fix you for just 1 mana. So great card, great addition to that. If you need to find a very specific land for your deck, I would highly recommend looking at World Map as a second piece to Expedition Map. And the number 1 card I'm talking about today is Joshua, Phoenix's Dominant. This is another card in the 3 mana red cards that lets you discard up to 2 cards, draw that many cards. We've seen this in Season Pyromancer, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Tursa in the last Tarkir set. But this one's got a little extra to it. So when an ETBs, you get to discard up to 2 cards, draw that many cards. That's great. Don't play this for card advantage. Play this if you want stuff specifically in the graveyard. We're talking about decks like Oscure Reanimator, where you want to get those artifacts into the graveyard, but you don't want to just ditch everything out of your hand. You want to keep that hand full to do other things. He's got a decent body at a 3/4, but for 5 mana, you can flip his butt around. And then wait 2 turns. You're going to deal 2 damage to each opponent for 2 turns. It's not that big a deal. He's got flying lifelink. Tangential lifelink is just really nice to have. You don't want to dedicate slots to lifelink, but being able to have a slightly higher life total than your opponents is actually really nice, and you're definitely going to connect because he does have flying. So that's really nice. So you're going to get 2 turns of that. And then on the 3rd mode, you get to return any number of target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield for total mana 6 or less. So what does that get you? If for some reason you got 40 0-mana creatures in your graveyard, you get them all back. Probably not what's going on. But if you've got your Esper Sentinel that got killed, if you've got other little value creatures that ate it really early on in the game, you can get all that stuff back. You were hopefully dumping creatures responsibly into the graveyard, your artifact creatures like we talked about for Reanimator. So you can get a big whole Wormcoil Engine back from the graveyard for this. And just like Jill, if somehow he survives this whole time, you get to flip him back around and do everything all again. We're talking those 2 bracket decks. We're talking those 3 bracket decks. We're not going fast. We need as much value as we can juice from every single card we put in the deck. And having a single creature that does like 4 different things is awesome. You've got 1 piece of cardboard, and it's a ticket to an all-you-can-eat buffet of just tiny little value things that you could need in your deck. So that is why Joshua is my number 1. That is why I picked all these cards. They're all super cheap. He's $1. Everything else is like $1 or less. These are the sleeper hits from Final Fantasy. Let me know if I'm missing something. Let me know if you're going to put these in your decks or if I'm totally off base. If you want to come hang out, we've got a Discord, we've got a Patreon, we've got all that jazz linked in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.